The Giants are about to make a huge mistake. What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas as we look on to the new year coming up. I hope you guys have been enjoying the time with your families, and I hope you guys have not been thinking about the New York Giants as much as I have, being a content creator and trying to come up with things to talk about and certain subjects and keeping the ship the ship floating, as you would say. But before we start, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel if you guys are enjoying the content, and make sure you guys check out BetUS. They are sponsoring the channel, as you guys know. 150% sign up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit. Second and third are 125% as long as you use the promo code YouTube150. That's YouTube150. You will not be disappointed. Just don't suck at betting. How about that? And also make sure you guys bet responsibly, of course. All right, so I had to make this video because I really hope the Giants actually do not do this. The Giants have been... It's hard to say. It sucks to say, but they have been doing the right thing by losing these games. It really brings into perspective why Joe Schoen needs to be fired. And if you guys need a little bit of a convincing of why Joe Schoen needs to be fired, check out Bobby Skinner's video on the Talking Giants channel. This is not sponsored by anything, but I love their work over there. They're friends of the channel, and he did an excellent video going through bullet points and reasons and explaining why Joe Schoen does not deserve another year as New York Giants GM, even though I liked him. I just come to realize now it's just not working, and I come to realize this before that video dropped, but this was an amazing video. By the way, the New York Giants themselves called Bobby Skinner and didn't ask him to take it down or anything, but, you know, basically what was coming at them, was coming at Talking Giants for coming out with this video, because it pretty much shows that pretty much means they want Joe Schoen to be back. If they're actively defending a person who's gonna be out the door, they're not gonna care. But it looks like Joe Schoen is going to be back, and you know, that was an amazing video that you guys should go check out. So as I was watching Talking Giants today, I come across their interview with Ryan Dunleavy. And, you know, their segment is basically, you know, the talk around the town right now, what they think is going to happen. And Ryan Dunleavy said that he expects Joe Schoen to be back. And as everybody kind of expects at this point, because they're heavily defending Joe Schoen. They're not speaking anything about replacing Joe Schoen, but we're hearing a lot of chatter about Brian Daboll. I think this would be an absolutely terrible move. If we were to keep one of these guys, I would say Brian Daboll. I think Brian Daboll, although I guess you could say he is deserving to be fired, I could see Brian Daboll. You can come up with better reasons for Brian Daboll to stay more than Joe Schoen. If you look at Joe Schoen and his resume, as far as being a drafter, as far as bringing in free agents, as far as managing a team and managing a roster, it's just subpar. It's just not good. And I feel like we kind of got the worst of the draw there when it came to Adam Peters, the now Washington Commanders GM, who was the assistant GM for the San Francisco 49ers. He was the runner-up for the position. He seems to be putting that franchise in a better position to succeed. It's only been 1 year, of course, but Joe Schoen just hasn't done anything as far as this roster goes to really say, like, I get the vision. And don't take my word for it. Just go through the last couple of draft classes. I mean, you go back to his first class in 2022. This one I kind of gave him sort of a pass because apparently he didn't have all his scouts, as a lot of people said. And, you know, this is his first year as GM, so we have to kind of trust the process, right? So Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal, we thought were going to be slam dunk picks no matter what. Kayvon is nothing compared to Aiden Hutchinson, who I'm always going to compare to, since those were the two top edge rushers in that class, along with Trayvon Walker. Evan Neal is an immediate bust. Wan'Dale Robinson is not better than George Pickens. I'd still take George Pickens over Wan'Dale Robinson. Josh Ezeudu in the third round is criminal, especially by the fact that you don't even use him for the right position anymore, and he's always hurt as well. Cordell Flott, he's good depth, nothing more. Should never start on an NFL team. Daniel Bellinger has been like thrown to the wolves. I don't know. Daniel Bellinger has always been decent to me, but just never utilized, not even as a blocker anymore. He's kind of been subject to third string tight end. Dane Belton, who is not good as much as a lot of people try to make him out to be. He is not good. Micah McFadden, we love Micah McFadden. All right, he is probably the only immediate like slam dunk pick as far as value goes in this draft class. DJ Davidson, not that great. Marcus McKeithen is the worst guard. I've said this all the time. He's the worst guard I've ever seen in my entire life. And then you got Darian Beavers, who couldn't even make the team. Coming off of being hurt, couldn't even make the team. He's not even on the team anymore. All right, so 2023, Deonte Banks looking like he's probably going to be a bust. Sucks to say. I loved Deonte Banks. He was my pick in that draft. That means I'm wrong. John Michael Schmitz. How about everybody that wanted John Michael Schmitz in the first round? I mean, come on. Jalen Hyatt. How about the people that wanted Jalen Hyatt in the first round? He can't run a route. The man can't run a route, and they traded up for him anyway. That is on the GM. Eric Gray. The most useful he is every time he fumbles, the Giants win a game. Two times out of 2 times do the Giants win a game because he fumbles in the first play of the game. Congratulations, Eric Gray. Trey Hawkins, he had a linsanity of a rookie training camp, and that was about it. Jordan Riley, not good. Javarius Owens, not even on the team anymore. Malik Neighbors, phenomenal. Tyler Nubin, why is he here? Andrew Phillips cannot break up a pass. Theo Johnson, he runs fast. Tyrone Tracy, I think is going to be a hit, especially with the value in the 5th round. Tyrone Tracy is a hit. Darius Muasau, he had the first interception on the team out of 3 interceptions total on the team. Big whoop. What were the major needs of this team when Joe Schoen took over? Well, the main thing he needed to take care of is, one, Daniel Jones and the quarterback position in general, but it seemed like they were going to stick with Daniel Jones. And then protecting Daniel Jones, the offensive line. How many offensive linemen were drafted in Joe Schoen's regime? Well, there were 3 drafted in 2022, none of which are even close to starter level, all right? The closest being Evan Neal, and he is terrible. And then you've got John Michael Schmitz, who is a below-average starter at center that was drafted in 2023. That makes 4 offensive linemen drafted by the Giants, none of which have been anything sort of good at all. And the Giants are still in a predicament with the offensive line. They, of course, they try to sort of get it going and upgrade it through free agency with Jermaine Illuminor and guys like that. And John Runyon, but they've gotten hurt, and now the offensive line is terrible. So yeah, why am I going off on about Joe Schoen? Well, the Giants seem to want to hang on to Joe Schoen after life after Brian Daboll. If there is one guy that needs to be fired, it's Joe Schoen. The roster management is terrible. Everything else was terrible. The drafting, terrible. As much as everybody likes to say Brian Daboll has a hand in drafting these players, I don't care. At the end of the day, who is responsible for drafting the players? It is the GM. I don't care who's chirping in his ear. He's the one that makes the final decision. I've always said this. If Brian Daboll wanted a kicker in the first round, it's not Brian Daboll's fault if the Giants draft a kicker in the first round. It's not his fault. And I really do not want Joe Schoen back with the Giants next season. I would be okay. I know everybody says, oh, well, the Kid Blue, you're just addicted to losing then. I like Brian Daboll. I still like Brian Daboll. I think the Giants are tanking. I'm sorry. I think they are not invested in winning any more games because they are trying to get a quarterback. I believe Brian Daboll has overachieved in the past 2 seasons with the roster that he was dealt by his GM, Joe Schoen. He overachieved with a 9-7-1 record in 2022, won a playoff game with Daniel Jones. and then went in 2023 with a quarterback carousel and found a way to win 6 games. And we're a play or 2 away from winning even more games. You look at games like the Buffalo Bills, the Los Angeles Rams. These were teams that were pretty damn good last season, and the Giants almost won those games because of Brian Daboll. Now, you could argue Brian Daboll has a lot of faults as well. The Wink Martindale situation is a huge blemish on his resume. I get that. So that's why I am okay if the Giants were to move on from Brian Daboll. But if you move on from Brian Daboll, you have to move on from Joe Schoen. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Joe Schoen has done less to warrant him another year than Brian Daboll has. Brian Daboll, at least you can make an argument for him. I can't come up with a single thing that Joe Schoen has done to keep him around. What, he brought Brian Burns over? He re-signed AT? He re-signed Dexter Lawrence? These weren't guys that he drafted. They weren't. And check this out, the Saquon and Xavier McKinney situation. Saquon, Xavier McKinney, Julian Love, and Leonard Williams. All these guys are balling out with their respective teams right now. Now, do I blame Joe Schoen for not re-signing them? No. I want to make this very clear. After everything that has transpired, with Saquon Barkley about to break the rushing record, the single-season rushing record against us, and after Xavier McKinney has like 7 or 8 interceptions right now, and with Julian Love playing at a Pro Bowl level along with Leonard Williams, I still think it was in the best interest of the Giants to let all those 4 players walk. But why? Why is the reason? This is where I blame Joe Schoen. Not having this roster and this team in shape to handle players like this. What do I mean by handle? Fit it into the cap. What good was it to have those 4 players eating up all that cap space on positions that are not technically valued in the NFL? Defensive tackle, 2 safeties, not 1, 2 safeties, and a running back. These are positions that are not under positional value, not very highly valued for teams. So when you're a terrible team, when you're a rebuilding team, those sort of positions aren't your priority anymore. And what did the Giants do? They went ahead in free agency and just try to replace these guys. They try to get they brought in Tyler Nubin to fill in for Xavier McKinney, Tyrone Tracy in the 5th round to try to help compensate for the loss for Saquon Barkley. All the Giants have done up to this point is let really good players go and try to draft their replacements, and they've been half the players that the guys that let go were. And that's the problem. It's not letting the players go. It's why you let the players go. Because you don't have this team in winning shape to handle these players. It's been 3 years and we've seen nothing but decline, nothing but regression. Okay? The Giants have won less and less games since Joe Schoen has been the GM. This team, this roster has looked worse and worse. And I thought Dave Gettleman was terrible. Joe Schoen has this team in position to be one of the worst rosters I've ever seen. So listen, if the Giants keep around Joe Schoen, expect there to be more bad seasons. Like, even if they get the quarterback, whether I want Cam Ward, I came to my decision, guys. I'm going to make a video about that later. Cam Ward is my number 1 quarterback. Maybe that's breaking news to you guys or anything like that. I did my film. But whether they get Cam Ward or Shedeur, it's going to be a long road ahead if Joe Schoen keeps handling this roster the way he has. It has not been good up to this point. His formula needs to be questioned, and whatever head coach ends up with the Giants after Brian Daboll is going to be suffering the same fate, trying to compensate for a lackluster roster. So that being said, guys, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this situation? What do you guys want to do with the head coach and GM roles? And leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this video, and we will see you guys in the next video.